So Jared Goff was ranked 27th in the NFL QB index rating. So I want you guys to tell me, do you have a problem with that? And can you think of 26 other quarterbacks that are better than Jared Goff, Adam?
I don't have a problem with it. So, are there 26 quarterbacks better than Jared Goff in a vacuum? Probably not. But right now, he's ranked 27th for a reason. The turnovers. His QBR is almost at an all-time low right now. You look at his completion percentage, you look at the yards he's accumulated, you'd be like, wow, this guy's playing really good. And then you go kind of watch the game and you look at essential downs. How is he converting on third down? How's the team doing on a third and long situation, a third and short, second and median? What are we doing? And QBR kind of tells that story, and he's sub 45, I believe, right now. That's not ideal for your quarterback. To answer the question, do I think there's 26 quarterbacks better than Jared Goff? I don't. I think he's around, 15 to 22. And maybe I'm being generous on 15, but that's me taking into account his past. He has proven that he can be a dynamic quarterback in the sense that he's got the arm talent. But unfortunately for Jared Goff, his last 3 seasons, he's been more known for his turnovers, which he's shown you a bunch of early on. He's been more known for his turnovers than he has for his on-field play. And that's just the reality of the situation. And whether or not he's being unfairly criticized or judged for it, considering he's not surrounded with weapons that you can really, look at him and say, okay, that's our guy. But you kind of knew, or at least I believed, you knew going in that Jared Goff wasn't the guy moving forward. And if you already believe that, these first 2 games aren't going to change my mind whether they're good or bad. I already made up my decision on Goff. What happens in the future, we'll see. But for now, I think 27th is fair. Though I think there are 26 quarterbacks, I'd have to really debate hard on it, but I don't think so.
I don't think it's fair because I looked at the list, and we can agree that Jared Goff isn't playing spectacular, but I will give you this. Let me just read off the number 18th ranked quarterback stats, and I just want to read this off. The same exact record as the Detroit Lions. 464 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 3 interceptions, no rush, barely any rushing yards, and 1 fumble. All right, that's 18th ranked quarterback. Jared Goff is 26th. He has almost 600 yards, more yards per attempt than this quarterback, 5 touchdowns and less interceptions, more rushing yards and the same amount of fumbles. And they're both the same exact record.
Yeah, I don't like that, but
I can name 2 other ones.
There's more. It's a fair point.
Yeah.
The problem is the quarterback you're talking about is Matt Ryan.
Yes.
And unfortunately, in majority of national media, people are still clinging on to MVP Matt Ryan
and that was my point.
Kyle Shanahan. So I agree with you, but it's not surprising to me, at least. I'm not surprised by it. But let's go through the quarterbacks that are ranked above him. And you tell me if you prefer this quarterback over Jared Goff. Let's do that.
Hold on. Let me make this point real quick because I was going to say that Jalen Hurts ranked in front of him, don't have a problem with. Mac Jones, don't have a problem with. There's 2 or 3 guys that I have a problem with.
I'm curious to hear. So Jalen Hurts, he's fine. You're happy with that.
Sam Darnold, I'm fine.
Okay, Sam Darnold, cool. Mac Jones, you're
fine.
okay with.
Yeah.
All right, Joe Burrow.
Fine.
Okay, very good. Jameis Winston.
Fine. He had a better game 1. He had a great game 1.
Okay, I don't agree. I don't think Jameis Winston is a better quarterback than Jared Goff.
They're saying now, right? Just how they're
playing. Yeah, but
even
even now or prior, it's just it doesn't make sense. Jared Goff has more of a proven track record of being a more consistent quarterback. Granted, they're both very turnover prone. I would take Jared Goff over Jameis Winston any day of the week. Carson Wentz, I vocalized essentially my disgust with Carson Wentz. I've been trying to defend this kid for the longest time, and I'm getting very tired of it. His inability to be on the field down 27-24 against the Rams, the opportunity to get the ball back, take your team down, either get 7 or tie the game, and he's on the sideline fully suited. Why isn't he in the locker room if he's hurt? I'm taking Jared Goff over Carson Wentz. Jimmy G, this version of Jimmy Garoppolo, again, he's in a great situation. Mm-hmm. So I got to take Jimmy Garoppolo. I have to. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, Big Ben, I'm taking Goff over Big Ben. I hate Big Ben. He's a bum.
That was my next point.
He is a bum.
Read his stats.
He's been past it.
Yeah.
Please, Ben, retire. Because I remember you for your first 13 or 14 years. My goodness, what a quarterback you were. But my friend, you are well past it. Please, do yourself a favor and retire. Should I move on?
Yes.
Or would you like to add anything, Jeff?
No, you're hitting it right on the head.
Okay, Matt Ryan. Totally, Totally overvalued
Shell.
here.
Yeah, he's a shell.
Totally overvalued. Would I prefer one over the other? Actually, no. I don't care for either. Actually, if I had to pick one or the other, I would rather go into a game without a quarterback right now. Matt Ryan, towards the tail end of his career, he's surrounded by a ton of weapons. The O-line sketchy, and to be honest, it's a new offensive scheme for him. It's a new head coach who's very offensive-minded, driven. So maybe they need time. I'm not sure, but I could care less. I don't want Matt Ryan or Jared Goff. Tyrod Taylor, this is actually hilarious. This is where you like feel bad for people and you like rank them higher than they should be. He won his first game. He gets injured in his second game, something all he knows how to do in his career, which is why he's never been a stable quarterback throughout his career and a starter, is he can't stay on the field. And he is 17 over Joe Burrow. Sam Darnold? Are you kidding me? Over Jimmy Garoppolo to an extent? 17 Tyrod Taylor. No. I would take Jared Goff over Tyrod Taylor any day of the week. I would. Moving on, Daniel Jones. Dave Gettleman should be fired for drafting Daniel Jones. And he is 16th on this list because he makes a few good runs a game? Are we serious right now? What's going on here? Agree? Jared Goff or Daniel Jones? I want to rip my hair out having to even decide between the two, but I'm probably taking Jared Goff. Moving on. Teddy Bridgewater. I got to say, Teddy Bridgewater, I got to give him credit. He's playing very well right now. I'm happy for him. Broncos are 2-0. It's a playoff roster. He's done a good job of not forcing any turnovers. He's doing his job, a game manager type quarterback similar to Jared Goff. So right now, it's not who I'd rather take, but he deserves to be over Jared Goff given the first 2 games of the year. And then everybody after...
Get to 11.
Get to
Ryan
11?
Tannehill.
All right, so we got Baker May... Well, let me get there. Baker Mayfield... Again, I want to pull my hair out having to decide between the two. I don't think I can win anything significant with either. But regardless, Baker plays for the Browns. They're 1-1 now. They have the best O-line, best run game. Yeah. Nothing you can do about that. Kirk Cousins has been balling out.
Yep.
Unfortunately for him, his defense is absolutely atrocious and has given up, the third or fourth most points in the league so far.
And shootouts.
So he's doing his job. He's not committing many turnovers, which is something Kirk Cousins is known for. But don't worry, Vikings fans. Give him 3 weeks. It'll start happening. And number 12. 12 is Matthew Stafford. That makes no sense for me. He should be in the top
Higher,
8.
yeah.
I don't understand that. Ryan Tannehill over Matthew Stafford. What are we doing? NFL and quarterback index. What are we doing? Matthew Stafford is 12 on this list, and Ryan Tannehill is 11, and he played probably the worst game of his Tennessee Titan career week 1. And he bounced back. He did bounce back. But keep in mind, Derrick Henry kind of ran all over the field, accounted for 4 touchdowns.
Yes, yeah.
And Ryan Tannehill now is on a top 11
He attempted
quarterback.
12 passes last game.
Unbelievable.
He didn't have to.
So Stafford should not be here. Josh Allen at 10. Bravo. Bravo. You wanted clicks? You're definitely getting them here. Okay, but let's go back. Would you take Stafford over Jared Goff?
Oh,
you
of
would.
course, yeah.
Ryan Tannehill, again, I think they're the same quarterback. I don't think I'm winning anything significant with either, so I pass. Josh Allen, of course I'm taking Josh Allen. Of course I'm taking Derek Carr. Of course I'm taking Dak. Of course I'm taking Kyler Murray. Of course I'm taking Herbert. Now we're getting into the upper echelon of quarterbacks right now, so it's not even a debate here, but you get where I'm going with this. Are there really 26 quarterbacks better? No, there's probably 22 or 21 or 20. He's in the 18 to 24 range, if you want to rank him.
I agree with
18 being you're very generous. You're being very generous by giving him 18. And 24, you're being a little harsh, but he kind of deserves it because of his play. And then anywhere in between, we're probably going to agree, me and you. Keep in mind, Jared Goff has a lot going against him right now, especially narrative-wise, right? He was traded away along with first 2 round picks for his replacement, which was Matthew Stafford. Let's just step back a little bit. How good does that look? Like, we are so sick and tired of you that we are willing to get rid of you and our 2 future first round picks because we don't think you're it anymore. We just don't. You were it the first 3 years. You looked so good. You went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes on Monday Night Football. And you dropped almost, 50? It was 50 to 45, something like that. You were that in your first 2 years, actually, with Sean McVay. And what happened? Where did this cliff show up where you just fell off of it? And you just became this turnover machine. You had no confidence. Where did this happen with Jared Goff? I believe it was away to San Francisco. when they lost to Nick Mullins and Sean McVay went back in the room like, my defense held them to 17 points and we couldn't beat them because my quarterback threw 4 interceptions? That's the day Sean McVay gave up on Jared Goff, in my opinion. And now you look at Jared Goff, again, a lot of things are working against him. He doesn't have the best roster around him, and it's not fair for me or anybody to really judge him with the talent he has. Agreed. I've been up here saying how horrible the wide receiving core is. But I expect my quarterback to be responsible, and the checkdowns are responsible. Throwing to the tight end, responsible. I don't really have a problem with that. But when you want to tell me he's so gifted, he's so great, that's when you lose me. He's 0-9 in his career, with Sean McVay not being his head coach. 0-7 from the Jeff Fisher to their interim head coach. From week 10 to week 17 his rookie year, he was 0-7. And of course, he's lost his first 2 games with Dan Campbell, but I'm not even going to judge him on his win-loss column this year in Detroit. It's really next year for Jared Goff to really solidify if he is going to be the quarterback of the future. I don't think he is, but that's on him to prove next year. We'll see what happens. But Jeff, your thoughts? I don't think there's 26 quarterbacks better than him. I think there's 20, 21. Where's your number right now?
I think 18. Matt Ryan's at 18. I think 18 to 24 is a good number. I think somewhere in that echelon. I mean, if you look at Jared Goff's numbers, absolutely overachieving in my book, considering the talent he has on the Detroit Lions from the wide receiver core. He has T.J. Hockenson. That's pretty much it. He has a good offensive line, but he has what? He's throwing 70% completion percentage, almost 600 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. If this guy had 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, I mean, I think anybody would understand. Like this team has no talent, and we already questioned Jared Goff's ability to play the quarterback position. So the fact that he's actually playing not bad, you got to reward him. I mean, the fact that he's 26th is a little absurd. It's completely absurd. I think it has to do more of the franchise he's a part of than the actual play of Jared Goff because, I mean, these numbers are comparable to be up there around 20. So I agree with you. 18 to 24 is my sweet spot for Jared Goff. Hasn't been playing spectacular, but he hasn't been playing the bottom of the league. I mean, he's just in front of Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence, who have been interception machines. So, no, he shouldn't be ranked that low, but it is what it is. A lot of these lists don't make sense. I mean, PFF ranked DeAndre Swift in the 30s for running back, so these lists just are whatever to me.
Look, again, so Jared Goff, he's kind of not in the best situation. We do have to head to break, but before we do, I want to make a point, one more point.
Okay.
Jared Goff, yes, he isn't working with ideal talent, ideal wide receivers, but he does have 2 dynamic running backs. And Anthony Lynn has already proven he's willing to put them in motion, get them on screenplays, put T.J. Hockenson in motion. It's there. It is there to be somewhat proficient. It's the interceptions and the fumbles, Jared, that will cost you your future in Detroit. Kennedy?
All right, guys. Well, we got to head to break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about who are these guys' Heisman frontrunners. I know who mine would be, but I want to hear it from these guys first. Stick around for that. But before we go, we got to hear about our friends over at MyBookie.